Doot doot. It seems like we're in an era of tributes and nostalgia, doesn't it? Movies being remade, old games getting HD versions that are entirely different from their originals, and teams of indie devs doing everything they can to cash in on the game they grew up with. In some cases, hell, you know what, most cases, it actually works out pretty well. Minecraft was inspired by Legos and Dwarf Fortress, Axiom Verge was inspired by Metroid, and Hyper Light Drifter took a lot of influence from Zelda. Why then do some tributes fail where others succeed? What is it about games like the Corn Fox Brothers' Oceanhorn that causes them to feel like uninspired copycats when others deliver on the sense of wonder that we experienced when playing their forebears? It's a bit of an abstract idea, but I think that it can easily be pointed to one thing: a spark. If you take a look at those games I mentioned, specifically Axiom Verge and Hyper Light Drifter, you'll see that there's something special about them. Sure, they take huge keys from the games they hold as distant relatives, but at the same time, they manage to be something of their own, something entirely new. The most important thing to remember when making a tribute is, in my mind, to be sure to still have your own identity. Be your own thing, be something entirely new, and those games, the indie games that succeed in being tributes, they do just that. Axiom Verge has an incredible story and a distinctive visual style that makes it stand out despite its simplicity. Hyper Light Drifter gives you its story in bits and pieces without any real dialogue, and it makes you fight your ass off for it. But Oceanhorn? It doesn't do much. I'm sad to say, but it's less of a tribute and more of a clone, and it feels bland, rushed, and disappointing. I would have loved to sit here and tell you that Oceanhorn succeeded in being a new take on the classic Zelda formula, but it doesn't. Instead, it takes pretty much every trope from the How to Make a Zelda Game pamphlet and slaps them together, then it adds a half-baked sailing system because why not? It's uninspired. Originally an iPad game and now available for PS4 and PC, Oceanhorn puts you in the boots of a young boy that needs to travel the ocean and visit islands and collect 3 magical MacGuffins to save the world. Along the way, you'll gather all sorts of equipment, magic, and heart pieces to make yourself stronger before the final fight. Sound familiar? I don't think I can be clear enough on how much of a clone this game is. You get heart pieces, for crying out loud. One of the staples of Zelda games. There are bird people and fish people, a mysterious ancient civilization that collapsed before the world was flooded, an evil dude trying to resurrect another evil dude to burn the world. It pulls like 4 or 5 plot lines from a bunch of different Zelda games and just kind of mashes them together, hoping something sticks. On top of that, the story is super rushed. No real character development, even though they try to make you like some of these characters, and things just suddenly happen. Seriously, I visited an island to talk to a girl, set off some fireworks, and then she was in love with me or something and knew my life story and was asking me to take her on adventures? What? At least put some effort into growing your characters if you're gonna throw stuff like that in there. The final nail in this game's coffin is the sailing. Wind Waker is my favorite Zelda game, so I was holding out some hope for at least these segments of the game being kinda fun. Alas, fate was not on my side. The sailing sections are honestly just half-realized on-rails shooting sections. You select an island to go to, and then the ship autopilots itself there, and you have to shoot mines and totally not Octoroks on the way. Oceanhorn is a game that could have been great. It's a game that reminds us that just because something mentions the name of something that we know is worthwhile doesn't mean the game itself will be any good. It reminds us to make sure that all of our creations, no matter how they were inspired or what you're creating them in, manage to maintain their own identity. Oceanhorn is a game with no spark. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Quick Bits. I hope you enjoyed. What are your thoughts on games pulling inspiration from larger titles? Are there any games that you'd like to see get a modern version or an indie take? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, remember to leave a like and subscribe for more if you enjoyed this video. And also, as always, remember to leave a dislike if you didn't enjoy this video for whatever reason, and be sure to tell me why in the comments. After all, that's why that system's there. That's all for now. Bye!